Welcome to Health Professional Radio. I'm your host, Neil Howard. Thank you so much for joining us for another segment. In this segment, we're going to be speaking with returning guest Dr. Jan Wehkamp. He's joining us here to discuss some very interesting information concerning safety among older adults treated with STELARA as opposed to placebo results. Welcome back, Dr. Wehkamp. Thank you for returning.
Hi, good morning, Neil. It's good to talk to you, and thanks for having me.
Well, for our listeners who may not be familiar with you when you were here before, give us a brief look into your professional background and tell us where it is that you're practicing now and in what capacity.
Yes, of course. My name is Jan Wehkamp. I'm the Global Strategy R&D Leader for Janssen Pharmaceuticals for Gastroenterology. And at the same time, I'm part of the Immunology Leadership Team, which is, of course, interested not only in inflammatory bowel diseases, but overall in immune-mediated diseases. In terms of my background, I'm a physician. I am trained as in internal medicine. I'm also a gastroenterologist, and I am a certified clinical pharmacologist. And I practiced in a European university hospital leading the IBD clinic before, and I was also working in several biotech companies before I moved over to Janssen about 3 years ago.
Now, concerning this information with older adults, why was there a study conducted concerning the safety indications among older adults treated with STELARA?
Yeah, Neil, thank you. This is an excellent question. I mean, we all have friends, family over 60, and we know a lot about safety in the regular adult patient population, but not much is known in this group over 60 years. And this makes it so important to ask these questions and to study this population over 60, because in particular, as you and of course the listeners here know and can imagine, this patient population is in particular vulnerable and at higher risk for several things, especially infections, but also other diseases. And that's why it's so important to study this group in particular.
What were some of the findings?
It is important to understand that this is not a single study. So what we have done and what our scientists have done is looked at pooled data from a total of 13 clinical studies across different approved indications. These approved indications included adults with moderately to severe Crohn's disease, the same moderately severe active ulcerative colitis, plaque psoriasis, and active psoriatic arthritis. So different indications. And then the data show rates of key safety events, which include adverse events, serious adverse events, infections, serious infections, and then, among adults 60 years and older, treated with STELARA for a total of 5 years, which is also important. So this is long-term data. And what is very remarkable and makes us very confident in STELARA is that the rates of any of these adverse events did not show any difference to a placebo. That's basically the major summary.
So were these events frequent among these 60 and older patients as far as any infections? Were they consistent with what you expected?
Yes, they were. Overall, again, this group is in general at higher risk. It was not powered to show differences between the different age groups. It's really what our aim here was to compare it with placebo in that particular group. And again, neither for infections nor for adverse events, nor serious adverse events, there was any difference to placebo over 5 years for STELARA. In terms of the study design, we looked at, again, pooled data, which means we put different studies together and looked over time. And this is something which is critical to do these kind of studies. So research doesn't stop once a drug is approved. We have to continue to ask these questions. We see that as our responsibility. And this is something, of course, we will also we plan to do for other future compounds. And we think it's a big responsibility, not only for us, but also for other competitors to look at these data over time to have a real good understanding of safety risks and safety consideration.
Was there significant relief as far as ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, and some of the other indications?
The effectiveness in this group was remarkable.
Okay.
And the dropout rate of patients in general is very low for STELARA, which shows that patients are not only tolerating it, but also, of course, see a benefit. We are very excited. It sets new bars in terms of safety and effectiveness, but at the same time, we continue to push the needle. And so, for instance, Tremfya, which is an IL-23 monotherapy, is the next generation developed by Janssen in the IL-23 class. And this one is even better. So, and there's more to come. So we continue to invest based on the high unmet medical need.
Well, Doctor, always a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you. And I'm looking forward to our next conversation as more studies are conducted.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me.
You've been listening to Health Professional Radio. I'm your host, Neil Howard, in conversation with returning guest Dr. Jan Wehkamp. Audio copies of this program are available at hpr.fm and healthprofessionalradio.com.au. You can also subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, listen in, download at SoundCloud, and be sure and subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com, Health Professional Radio.